Hey, be careful what you shoot at. Most things in here don't react too well to bullets, especially a cinematographer. Right. Just try not to aim the gun at the camera, eh? I gotta be careful what I shoot at. Well, there's a first time for everything.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and wow, I mean, I am absolutely shocked. I talked about this yesterday in that the amount of money that went into this investigation, the amount of time that this investigation took, made me feel like there was a high probability of charges being levied against Alec Baldwin. However, I am still absolutely shocked that not only did he get charged, but he got charged with something that could potentially have some serious jail time attached to it. Like, you know, serious long-term federal prison charges. You know, and Tim Pool brings up a valid point in his video and also on Twitter that there actually may be more to this case. There may have actually been a motive. And also, you know, this is some serious time that he's looking at. So Tim tweeted out this: they found live ammo in Baldwin's belt. He had motive and opportunity, to which I said, motive? But he does have the receipts here. So here's a section from the Vanity Fair article. In addition to the live round that found its way into Helena Hutchins, investigators found 5 additional rounds mingled among the movie's props and costumes. 2 loose 45s were discovered on top of a prop cart. A third was in a bandolier worn by actor Jensen Ackles, and a 4th was in a belt worn by Baldwin. And the 5th was found in a box of dummy ammo with Gutierrez Reed's fingerprints on it. Whoop, 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 whoop. So I said, what was the motive? Well, he brings up accurately, the crew had been threatening to walk off, lots of animosity between crew and executives. Additionally, Baldwin expressed frustration with Helena specifically over her telling him what to do over and over again in an interview about it. He said cinematographers aren't supposed to direct like that. Given a history of being hot-headed, passion termination seems plausible. He lied about everything that happened. He had live ammo and what he was wearing. And he links this article, which is very true. Now, I don't think they're ever going to be able to like prove intent here unless there's a whole nother level of investigation that kind of happens in this run up to the charges. But again, the fact that he added on it, and by the way, Gutierrez Reed obviously is not without blame here either, because Alec was not the only one that got charged. There are charges against all 3 individuals, reflect how Hutchins' accident appears to be the result of numerous mistakes and failures during production, an event cascade chronicled in Vanity Fair's previous report. Now, Baldwin and Gutierrez Reed, who is the armorer, will each face 2 charges of involuntary termination because the jury will be asked to choose between the 2 counts. According to the district attorney, the first charge can be referred to simply as involuntary. For this charge to be proved, there must be underlying negligence, which will be extremely easy to prove, it seems like. Involuntary termination is a 4th-degree felony and is punishable by up to 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. The charge also includes the misdemeanor charge of negligent use of a firearm, which would likely merge as a matter of law. The other charge is involuntary in the commission of a lawful act. The statement continues, this charge requires proof that there is more than simple negligence involved in a death. This is also a 4th-degree felony punishable by 18 months in prison and up to a $5,000 fine. This charge includes a firearm enhancement or added mandatory penalty because a firearm was involved. Now, the firearm enhancement makes the crime punishable by a mandatory 5 years in prison. They keep saying jail, but this is prison that he's going to. There's a very clear process for pursuing justice in this case. Carmack Altweiss, who's the DA or whatever, we are committed to upholding the integrity that processes to ensure equal justice under the law. Charges will be formally filed with New Mexico's first judicial court before the end of the month. According to Carmack Altweiss, the defendants will be sent a summons and required to make a first appearance, a procedure that is often referred to in other jurisdictions as an arraignment. The statement said that may happen virtually, or the defendants could waive the appearance. From there, a preliminary hearing would be held, most likely in the next 2 months, in which the prosecution presents the case to the judge, who will rule on whether or not a trial should move forward. Now, it's important to point out here that this is charges being recommended, right? He's being charged, but it doesn't mean he's been found guilty at this point. But certainly, the way they stacked these charges, it seems extremely unlikely that both would be tossed out. And when you talk about the firearms enhancement of up to 5 years, maybe that increases the chances of some sort of plea deal to avoid jail time, but that also seems extremely unlikely. Like, this is, obviously a big deal. In October, Baldwin announced that he and other producers of Rust had reached a settlement agreement with the Hutchins family. They paid her a bunch of money, presumably, with her husband, Matt, also joining the unfinished project as an executive producer. Why would you want to work on that project? Hollywood people are weird. Imagine your wife has such a terrible accident, allegedly, or something terrible happened to her. That's not alleged. And then they're like, bro, you want to come work for us? You'd be thinking about your wife every day on that set if you weren't some sort of maniac, right? I don't understand Hollywood people, like, at all. The Hutchins family lawyer recently declined to comment on the state of the settlement. I'm sure it was massive. Although Baldwin said that he had hoped to resume filming as soon as this month. Well, that ain't going to happen. This is facing, up to 5 years in prison. And by the way, they could both be charged, both Hutchins and Baldwin. Now, what does this mean for, Hollywood going forward? Well, I certainly suspect you're going to see a very different production going forward. Now, it's so weird to me. Perhaps the weirdest part about this, there's 5 rounds, and they were literally everywhere. Everywhere. They were on Jensen Ackles. They were on Alec Baldwin. They were on a prop cart. They were everywhere around the set. Why? Why were there so many? It was almost like someone was hoping something bad would happen. Doesn't it seem like that? Like, you just put these things everywhere, and maybe, just maybe, something will happen, and you could, like, absolve yourself of feeling guilty by saying, like, well, it was just this random thing that happened. The criminal charges were a remarkable development in the career of Mr. Baldwin, 64, who has been a household name for decades, a leading man in films, hosted the Oscars and played Jack Donaghy on 30 Rock, and former President Donald J. Trump on Saturday Night Live. The Trump curse is real. Now, Mr. Baldwin, both a producer and lead actor in the movie, has long denied culpability, noting that he had been told the weapon he was rehearsing with did not contain any live ammunition. It doesn't matter if that's what you were told. You're holding the thing, man. You have to bear some responsibility. And why are you pulling the trigger anyway? Someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me, Mr. Baldwin said in a television interview last year. He has also said he had been simply following the directions for the point where it just went off. By the way, it also wounded director Joel Souza, who could probably also sue. In a statement on Thursday, a lawyer for Mr. Baldwin said this decision distorts Helena Hudgett's tragic passing and represents a terrible miscarriage of justice. Mr. Baldwin had no reason to believe that there was live ammo in the prop or anywhere on the movie set. He relied on the professionals with whom he worked, who assured him the weapon had no live rounds. We will fight these charges and we will win. Now, of course, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the armorer who was responsible for the weapons on set and loaded the prop that day, will also be charged with 2 counts. The film's first assistant director, Dave Halls, who handed him the weapon, agreed to a plea. He already agreed to plead guilty to negligent use of a weapon in exchange for a suspended sentence. So this guy already took a plea deal. If any of these 3 people, Alec, Gutierrez Reed, or David Halls, had done their job, Helena Hutchins would be alive today. Andrea Reeb, the special prosecutor appointed by the district attorney, said in a statement, "It's that simple." I don't disagree with that. There's something more going on here. Also, like David Halls, I'm not sure how he just literally like handed it to him. I don't know that it's his responsibility to inspect it. That's a weird one for me. But why did he accept a plea deal? Like, I know there are many reasons why people do, and it does not like prove guilt. But I think there's something more sinister going on here, and that we're going to see that in the trial. By the way, don't forget that this armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, has had a history of being terrible at her job, and having brightly multicolored hair probably isn't helping her. She'd had several other films where, or at least one other film where she had some interaction. I think it was Nick Cage or something like that. So, yikes. Looks like LawTube's going to have another potential trial here to watch, and I'm all for it. The Trump curse lives, and hopefully justice will be served. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I also am asking people today to open a new window. I'm going to have a pretty big announcement coming in the next couple of weeks. Open a new window and go to thequartering.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see an option to join my newsletter. I haven't sent an email to that list in months. I very rarely use it, but I'm going to need your contact. Once you submit your email, you'll see this. Wait, you must check your inbox and confirm your subscription. When you go to your inbox, you'll see an email from me. It says, The Quartering, please confirm your subscription, and then you have to click the yes button. This is a double opt-in. This helps ensure that my email actually gets to you. Please do sign up today. I'll be kind of mentioning it all day. I've got something really big brewing that I want to be able to reach you all, and I can't trust YouTube to do that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.